Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for watching. This is Kali Star with Earth Matterz and Soup Sorceress. And today, before I get into the vegetables, I want to share with you what we did this week. We had a lot of fun. And I know I keep talking about making fermented sunburst squash. And so I'm going to show you the example of that now because we finally did some this week. And although we don't have sunburst squash in the bundles this week, we had them the last couple weeks, we will have them again. It's the season, so they'll come up again, and I just want to show you. This is the sunburst squash, and what's so much fun to watch your ferment. Everybody who ferments knows how fun this is, when it's just so fizzy. The short little summary on how I fermented this is just, I just cut up the squash into somewhat of a big chunk so that it's like a nice little pickle, and use some basil, put some basil in it, and a teaspoon and a half of salt, filtered water to the top, and I shook it all about. And then for the next couple of days, what I do, I stuck a cabbage leaf. Some of you have the actual fermenting tops. I have a few of those, but I'm using right now, I'm just using the top, the lid. When you're not using the special fermenting lids and you're just using the lid, then you're going to want to stick a cabbage leaf on top to push down the vegetables. Keep it all under the brine. And each day, every 24 hours, you want to open the lid to let out a little air and close it. Now what will happen those first couple of days is that it will explode. It's like opening champagne, except that it's vegetables, and so much better for you and really fun. It will just go psh. Make sure that when you open it like that, those first few days, that you take your bottle to the sink before you open the top for a moment, because it will burst. So that's my fermented squash that I keep talking about. And this week though, we have Crookneck Squash, which is one of my favorite squashes for the flavor. I absolutely love the texture and flavor of Crookneck Squash. Now I want to show you guys, this is so much fun. We pickled eggs, but we did Borscht Pickled Eggs. And so if you don't know what that is, that's where you use some beets and it colors the eggs this beautiful pink color. And we did it a little differently than I usually do it. For one, I used persimmon vinegar and some special herbs, which you'll find out what that is when I post the video of this recipe. And the other thing that I did differently was I used beet juice instead of putting whole beets in it. The results of that are a much richer color Borscht Pickled Egg. I'm very happy with how these turned out as far as color. It's very, very beautiful. And for those of you who do eat eggs, you'll love this. I actually don't eat eggs anymore, but this morning I put this out for my team, and we put it on a sourdough loaf from Hasi Bread, which is available on our website. You can also do this with turmeric and make yellow eggs. So I'm just going to go through real quick some of the veggies that we had this week and some fun ideas. And I'm going to actually start with our herb bags. So if you haven't gotten our herb bags before, now's a really good time because we've been getting some interesting varieties. Last week we had chocolate mint. That was really fun. And this week we got some cool things. Well, parsley, that's a really great basic herb to have. What we also got is some wonderful sage. So good. And we have lemon thyme. Oh my goodness, this takes me to outer space. I think it would be wonderful with the Crookneck squash. And you can add some tomatoes to this. And guess what? These tomatoes are the first of this season, and they're actually one of the best ones too. In my video with Andrew of Sunrise Organic Farm, he talks about these tomatoes, and they're called Mountain Magic tomatoes. Yes, and guess what? It tastes like that. Andrew is so proud of this tomato, and we're so excited to have it. With the Crookneck squash and the lemon thyme, the flavors are so good. They're like pink. These are pink radishes. They're so gorgeous. So they will make your salads look incredible. And you can also pickle some of these and have them for later. You don't have to do a whole pickling shaboozle thing. You can just throw on some vinegar, half water, some salt, put these in a little bowl and put it in the fridge like that, and just make them last longer and just make them kind of pickled. They'll last a couple weeks, but you'll eat them before that. We have some avocados, some cucumbers. I've already gotten into this big gorgeous red leaf lettuce as I just started to chop it up already, but here is not the full head of lettuce. It's a big one. It's nice, crisp, beautiful, wonderful, and I hope you'll enjoy that. We also have green beans, and the green beans with shiso. Wow, I just realized how sidetracked I got because I told you guys I was going to tell you about the herbs, and now here I am. I've gotten all into the veggies. This is in the herb bags that we have, and give those a try once in a while. Just add some flavor to your dishes. It'll inspire you. You'll feel good. This is shiso. I'll explain that in a second. Green beans. I will use the epazote or the shiso, something fun. Both of these herbs are really interesting. And if I just taste it like this, you might not love it as much as when you actually put it into something. But when you put it into something, the flavor is so wonderful. I use this for a summer squash sauce, and that recipe is on our blog. And I just blended it with the steamed squash and some other flavors. You can also make it as a soup, and I craved it for days when I used the shiso with it. There's something about this flavor. It is so magical. I don't quite know how to explain it, but I love it. It's so unique. Now the epazote that is in the large bundles, these will show up in the herb bundles at some point too. I haven't used this before. This is going to be my first time, but I hear about it a lot. And so when I found out that we could actually buy some, I haven't ever known a farmer to grow this. So this is a really exciting thing for me. So when I first tried it, it was the other day, I took one bite. At first you think, that might be too bitter. And then just when you think it might be too bitter, suddenly it gives you a minty flavor. And it's like, oh, that's a minty flavor. Oh, that feels very minty. Wait a second, there's another flavor. What is that? And then that flavor kind of lingers in your mouth for a little bit. So that's the best way I can explain epazote. People might disagree with me. That's okay. I'm just doing my best to explain it to you how I sense it. And I know chefs that use it in avocado soup, or they use epazote oil in avocado soup. So that might be something you want to try. I'm not quite sure what I'll do with it yet, but we will find out. Now, also in the herb bundles, purslane it just reminds me of a succulent. It's so good. It's kind of slimy and sweet, and it's a burst. It's like, this. I just eat the leaves like that. I just add it to salad. I think some people actually cut the stems and then cook it just like they do with agretti. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me for agretti, and so I did get in touch with David and I let him know that everybody is asking for agretti. Now they won't have it available until later. However, he said, okay, I planted the seeds for it. So thank you all for your input on that. We really do love when you share with us what you want. So it's really fun to be able to talk to our farmers like this and share, and when they know what we like, I get to communicate that with them. And when we have these different unique varieties, it's kind of a risk for them. They don't know if it's going to sell at their farmers market, but if enough of you are asking me for it, guess what? They're really interested in growing it. I'm going to calm myself now because I'm smelling the lavender leaves, and I'm so happy that we have lavender leaves, because when we can put something in the bundle where you can make a fresh tea with it, there's just something so relaxing, soothing, and wonderful about that. And I know that some people also told me that they just absolutely loved having the chamomile last week, and that was a real highlight for them. It's just, they said, I have been missing out. I've been having dried chamomile tea for so long, and when I tried that fresh one, wow, I feel so good. And I'll have some lavender tea tonight. Look at this cucumber. Don't you love when they have funny shapes like this? Like this one reminds me of those twin popsicles that I had when I was a kid that I would never eat again, ever. But when you see it looking all cool like this, it's like, why do I want to eat this more? Because it looks so cool. It's like those hugging carrots. Have you ever had a hugging carrot? Probably didn't because you were too busy taking a picture of it. I'm just kidding. So on a note on these carrots and the strawberries from Frecker Farms, Alex, his truck broke down this morning and we had to meet him a little bit further. And that must have been really challenging for him. You know, he's got to set up his farmer's market and he's got a lot going on, a lot on his plate. Alex is incredible. He is giving so much to the community. Not only is he supplying for people like us, he is also helping donate to all kinds of causes, and that is what we are about. We want everyone to be fed healthy and well, and he is doing so much in that, and our farmers work every single day. Even Andrew talks about it in the last video that I posted. I hope that you'll check that out. So very happy, very lucky that we got our carrots and strawberries today. Alex pulled through for us, and I am just so grateful for them and everything that they do, and I know that you are too. We have spinach this week, which is, we don't often get this. It's such a delicate vegetable. So this is looking really good. I've had this outside all day. So this one is looking nice and crisp. It's beautiful, it's excellent. Now, what I'll still do though, is I'm going to put this in my kitchen and get a bowl of ice water and put the leaves in there because it'll perk it up even more. And then I'll spin dry it, put it in a bag, put a paper towel in there, and put it in my fridge. Or I'll put it in a glass jar. So like a cotton bag or a glass jar and a paper towel in there. And you got spinach. So I love spinach. Don't you love spinach? And chard reminds me a little bit of spinach, but just a little bit different flavor. And I could probably mix the two together this week. The bok choy in the family enlarges. Honestly, this is lunch. Just this one thing. If I'm in a hurry, this is perfect. I'm just gonna chop this up and steam it and flavor it. Lemon juice, some healthy oils. I've been using sachet and chia oil recently, some flax oil. I put the oils on top raw, and then maybe some chili flakes and some lemon juice would be nice. Or even some mandarin, some flesh of the mandarin. So one thing I wanna say about cauliflower today, besides just easy, steam it, put some salad dressing on it. And this cauliflower, I love cauliflower soup. You can puree it and it's nice and smooth. You wouldn't know it doesn't have dairy in it. It's really great. And then I can put some chopped spinach in the cauliflower. And so I puree the cauliflower, put some chopped spinach in there and some different herbs. If you get the herb bag, try all kinds of herbs in that soup. It would be so wonderful, comforting and nice and warm. So what I want to say is these leaves, and even if you're making soup, you can cook with the leaves. They're really tasty roasted. They're also great just steamed, and I don't always use them, but once in a while I feel like it, and it's always very rewarding, and they're really healthy for you. So I might just cook these separately and then dip them in the cauliflower soup, and that would be really good. I wonder how this will taste with the epazote. I hope you watch our video with Andrew. And next up is I'm going to share the recipe for the Borscht Pickled Eggs. I'm wishing you all so much health and happiness. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for supporting our local small organic farms, and I'm wishing you all well. Also, please subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss a recipe, a nature adventure that we're posting, or a video about one of our farmers. Thank you so much. Take care.